today, the mark we're looking at is that a man is okay to be in the minority. Men take a minority position, and boys always want to be in the majority. Boys are always looking for, where is everybody else? I have to think like everybody else. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be different. I don't want to speak up and have people not like my ideas because they're different than everybody's. Men take a minority position. I was reminded of this when I was watching watching our baptisms that were here at Oakley. All of our different sites had baptisms this last week, midweek services. Listen to his story.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Jack, who just made a public declaration of surrender to Jesus, so congratulations on that. Jack, just tell us a little bit about what it meant for you to declare this today. What are you declaring today?
I'm just declaring that I follow Jesus Christ and I'm giving up everything for Him. Yes. My money, my power, just all my friends, everything that I believe in. I love Him so much and I'll do whatever it takes to give all I got for Him, and I love Him.
Man. Oh, man, that's awesome, dude. You know what? How old are you, Jack?
13.
Jack is 13, guys, but can I tell you, this is a man. This is a man. You know, one of the things we talked about this weekend was men have a vision for their life, and men are willing to take a minority position. Jack, you know that what you just declared will put you in the minority in your generation.
Yes, sir.
And I tell you what, you're blessed for it.
I like how he says, you know this is going to put you in the minority. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, and I'm okay with that. That's a 13-year-old man right there. The 13-year-old man. A story of a man who's in the minority going against the majority. The majority at this time was the nation of Israel. It's an Old Testament story. And the nation of Israel was chosen by God and uniquely blessed by God, and yet men would get in positions of leadership as king, and over and over and over again, these men wanted to be liked by the majority, and especially the majority of neighboring nations. One of these kings that was in the majority, who was far from God, was the king named Ahab. And the minority man that's going to come and take a position is Elijah the prophet. Let's go ahead and read what it says. When Ahab saw Elijah, Ahab said to him, "Is it you, you troubler of Israel?" And he answered, "I've not troubled Israel, but you have in your father's house, because you've abandoned the commandments of the Lord and have followed the Baals. Are you the troubler of Israel? Like, you're the one who's causing all the problems." And Elijah says, "No, you're the one who's causing the problems. Your bad leadership, you're leading people astray. Men in the minority trouble the majority. Men in the minority trouble the majority." And Elijah continues to articulate the way things need to change. Verse 21. Elijah came near to all the people and said, "How long will you go limping between two different opinions? If the Lord is God, follow Him. But if Baal, then follow him." And the people did not answer him a word. Oftentimes, when the majority is faced with a challenge, they don't have the guts to stand up or articulate anything. They just kind of go with the masses. They can't even answer this simple and direct question. Never allow the majority to dictate your beliefs and your actions. Minority positions are informed from transcendent processes. It doesn't come from popular opinion. It comes from some primal thing inside or some sacred thing outside, like the Bible. Minority positions are formed because you just sense that even though it doesn't make sense right now and other people don't like it, this is the way that I have to go, even if people don't like it. So Elijah says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to see whose God is real. The God of the majority, Baal, or the God of my God, the minority, the ancient God of Israel. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take an animal and we're going to put it on an altar, and you'll pray to your God and see if He answers you by sending fire to devour that animal. And then I'll pray to my God, and whoever God answers with fire, that's the real God. Deal? Everyone says deal. Let's get on it. So here's what the story says. And they took the bull, this is the prophets of Baal that was given them, and they prepared it and called upon the name of Baal from morning until noon, saying, "O Baal, answer us." But there was no voice, and no one answered. And they limped around the altar that they had made. And at noon, Elijah mocked them, saying, "Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is musing, or he is relieving himself, or he's on a journey, or perhaps he's asleep and must be awakened." Nothing happens. They give up. Then it's Elijah's turn. And here's how the story goes. Elijah the prophet came near and said, "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Answer me, O Lord, answer me, that this people may know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you've turned their hearts back. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering and the wood and the stones and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, the Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. And Elijah said to them, seize the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook of Kishon and slaughtered them there. And that's our God. That's our God. And just like their attitude is the right attitude, so is the nation of Israel. They get down and they said, oh. They get on their hands and knees, and they bow down and said, this is the true God. Your God is the true God. Minority positions increase in intensity. They increase in intensity. Last verse, 1 Kings 19, 1-3, says this. Ahab, who's already established a boy, he goes home and he tells his wife Jezebel all that Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. And then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, so may the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow. Then he was afraid, and he arose and ran for his life. Ahab is a passive male. There's all levels of passivity that, guys, I'm just telling you, the majority in our culture is trying to get us to be passive, to be Ahabs, and we just can't do that. Look, guys, don't think about the huge, massive test that you might have. Think about whatever it is right now that's on your heart that you need to be the minority and you need to stand strong in.